example, we're going to use algebra tiles to multiply two binomials. To represent my binomials with algebra tiles, I'm going to first take a positive x for my x value, and then I'm going to add 7. So I need 7 positive tiles underneath it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will represent x plus 7. To represent my x minus 3, I'm going to need a positive x tile and 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to use this, if I was to write this as an x minus 3, use this as kind of a multiplication table where I'm going to be saying x times x. And the only tile that will fit in when I multiply an x times an x is an x squared, because we know that x times x is equal to x squared. Now I need to multiply this x over here, this green tile, times my minus 1. So when I multiply an x times a negative 1, that's equal to a negative x. So for each one of these products of an x times a negative 1, I'm going to get a negative x. Now I can move on to the multiplication part of my 7. So I'm going to be multiplying my 7 times x, which is equal to 7x. So to represent that with algebra tiles, I can represent it as an x. 1 times x is x. 1 times x is x. X, 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 and x. And now for the last part, for this last quadrant here, I need to multiply my 7 times negative 3. So essentially, if we're looking at each part of our algebra tile, or each piece of our algebra tile setup, I'm multiplying 1 times a negative 1. And that product gives me a negative 1. That will be true for all of these products. So I can go ahead and fill in my algebra tiles, each doing a negative 1. Now the goal, once I finish this, will be to have a complete rectangle. And if I have that, I know that I've done my multiplication correctly. 3 more. Perfect. And when I look off to my box now, I can see that I have a complete rectangle, so I know I've multiplied correctly. The next part is to combine our like terms. Now when I look for like terms, I'm looking to combine my x squareds with x squareds, x's with x's, and 1's with 1's. Now remember, we're only looking at our actual solution here. So we're just looking at this inner part here. That's it. So when I go through to combine my like terms, I take a look at my x's first. And there's only one x squared, so that gets just written as an x squared. Now over here I have 3 negative x's and 7 positive x's. These will zero out as 0 pairs. So if I take this x and combine it with that negative x, those zero each other out. They're 0 pairs. There's another 0 pair and my final 0 pair. So I'm left with only 1, 2, 3, 4 positive x's. So I'd write plus 4x. When I look at my negative 1's, there are no positive 1's to zero them out, so those would just be my solution. So I have columns of 3, and then my rows, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. So I'm saying 3 times 7, and since they're all negatives, it's minus 21. Therefore, I know my solution to the product of x plus 7 times x minus 3 is equal to x squared plus 4x minus 21.